Here's a quick introduction to our favourite cardboard cutting tools for your makerspace. So, if you want to construct something like the sail of a boat, you could use the slicer to cut out a large triangle shape. So I like to measure out where I'm going to cut with a ruler first, so I've got a symmetrical shape at the end. Then I get my slicer and I cut down the line using my ruler to keep it straight. You might have to go down the line a few times before you get your clean cut. And there you go. The next tool is something you use to eat your school dinners with, a butter knife. Most of you should have access to one of these with the assistance of an adult. Butter knives can be used for cutting as they have one edge with small grooves called serration. Cut downwards with small back and forth motions. Butter knives are blunt but keep fingers out the way just in case. I've used a butter knife to cut the base of my boat. What could you make? This next tool by MakeDo is a safe introduction to sawing. There are two different versions of the saw which I'll mention, but both are bright yellow, feel really light in your hands and come with a cool feature on the handle which is a hole making device. So the first one is the Safe Saw Junior. It's got a flexible plastic blade and is for our youngest of makers. And secondly, this one's just called the MakeDo Safe Saw. It's got a steel blade with no sharp edges. They've got 2 rows of smaller and thicker serration for thick or thin cardboard. Cut in a downward motion. You need a little patience and it does require quite a bit of force, but it's good practice for getting the motion of sawing. This is the Safe Saw Junior that I'm using, but I would recommend the Safe Saw with the steel blade as it cuts through a bit more swiftly. I think this is the best supervised saw for all you tinkerers and makers to get started on. It's made up of a retractable saw-like blade, which means that the cutter can be safely carried in your pocket. It also clicks and locks in 2 different positions. One way to use it is to hold the cardboard up vertically and slide down the cardboard in back and forth motions. The small blade is lightly serrated, and as you can see, it's a clean, fast cut. Another way of using the Canary Box Cutter is to lay it flat on the table, using the round serrated top to make shallow cuts in the cardboard. It's best to use a ruler to make sure that your lines are straight. This creates creases, which enable you to fold your cardboard into 3D shapes. Now let's give my monster some legs. Using a junior hacksaw blade and forming a handle on it, you can make your own saw. This tool is really good for making precise cuts and shapes in thicker cardboard. The junior hacksaw blade is definitely for more experienced makers. You'll need to take care as it's sharper than the others. Wrapping masking tape around the ends is a really cheap way of making a handle and allows you to have more control. In order to upgrade control of the tool further, you could form a handle out of a mouldable plastic such as polymorph. I'm carving out a door for a house here. As a starting point, I'm poking holes with the end of my MakeDo Safe Saw. The tool slides through the cardboard with ease and is very easy to use once you get going. Could you cut out some groovy windows? Because it's more sharp, it's in many ways easier to use than some of our other tools, as you can use less force. It just requires a little more care. This looks a bit like a drawbridge for a castle. What other features could you cut out of your cardboard? Normal scissors are great for cutting through small sections of thin card, but in most cases scissors are not the most effective cutting tool. Cutting through sections of cardboard with a longer span, your hand gets in the way and the cardboard ends up getting bent. Thick corrugated cardboard is definitely too stiff to cut through with scissors. With angled scissors, the blades are positioned on a right angle, which means your hands don't get in the way. You can be much more precise with your cuts. Angled scissors don't require much strength, but watch your fingers as you would with normal scissors. What cardboard cutting tools will you use in your makerspace?